watching to a very special live stream because I'm joined by Richard Knight, the creative or game director, of course, on Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. Thanks for joining. I know it's very late in Singapore right now, so appreciate you making the time.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, it's usual business for us when you're in a different time zone like that, but it's always fun.
Yeah, exactly. No, but it's nice because now we can go live. More people can watch from all over the world. So I really appreciate it, and of course, I can imagine that you're still busy with, of course, having just launched the game and already the first update dropping tomorrow at the time of this recording. So that's very exciting. So yeah, if you're joining, if you're watching live, thanks everyone, of course, for joining. I asked on multiple occasions if you have any questions for the game director, let me know, and many of you did. So I collected a lot of them, and we're gonna go over them right here in this video. But I want to start, of course, with just your how are you feeling right now? You of course spent it was like 3 years,
Yeah.
right, working on this project. It's now finally out. How has this past week for you and the team been?
I mean, it's such a load off the shoulders to just release a game. I mean, a lot of game development is taking bets. You're kind of you're planning a lot, you're deciding on things to do, and then they take months and months and months to happen. And so you have to you triage what you can, but you hope those bets work. So I don't know, we're feeling great. I'm feeling great. Still quite a bit busy. Still looking closely at bug reports and patching and that kind of stuff. And then, also starting to think a little bit about looking ahead. But yeah, so there's always a little bit of all of that in game development. But at the same time, it's nice just to know the game's out there and the feedback you're getting is real.
Yeah, and I think the reception has been very good, right? And of course, the early sales that we heard, 2 million in the first day. That's a huge thing. So yeah, congrats. Also, I think is in order here.
Thank you.
And has anything like surprised you since the launch? Like you said, you've been looking at bug reports and obviously videos and things people shared.
I mean, of course, there's always things that surprise you because there's just nothing like having 1 million or 2 million players playing a game at once that you can't replicate otherwise. I'd say the feet pics were very surprising.
Oh yeah, there's
Um,
one in Havana, right? That has like
yeah.
80,000 likes or something.
I didn't expect that one. You know, it's kind of, goes to show it's kind of what photo mode is there for, is to take really interesting, sometimes unusual photos. But yeah, I
Yeah.
never would have expected that one.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, and also in terms of you like what I really like is that we're also still discovering things in the game. Obviously, you have a lot of these like unmarked islands that have some secrets here and there. Are there
Mhm.
still some things that we've not found that you've seen? Like, of course, the explorer outfit was the big thing yesterday. That I think was part of the sort of like social community challenge that yeah, I mean that's how it goes. Like when you have 2 million people playing, someone will just dive somewhere and
Yeah,
find
of
the
course.
chest.
Of course. It's like, yeah. I'd say there probably is, but I'm saying that because even I'm not aware of where everything is hidden right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
They don't give me some grand document. Hey, Richard, by the way, we hit all these things. Sometimes the team is a bit sneakier than me. And yeah, so some of them, I don't know, but I'd like to say yes. Maybe I need to check on that tomorrow.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I think I think it's cool that we have these like world events now also in the different cities and on the islands that also give some unique rewards, and like I said, some of the chests with cool trinkets that are not marked. Because that's kind of how I play the game. I look at every location. Okay, I'm gonna get every chest, so I have everything, and then wait, there's an island there that's not really on my map or legend. So I think that's a very cool thing. And I'm like really curious. Obviously, this is the first like proper remake for an Assassin's Creed game. Can you like take us back to how you kind of started this project, and for one, why choose Black Flag to go with first, and also how did you approach this as like the project?
So way back in the day when we was discussing projects, and it wasn't just me, but the team and the brand and stuff. When we were looking at Black Flag and okay, when you think about it, if you just take out the number, it's just Assassin's Creed Black Flag, not necessarily 4. It's got so much going for it, right? It's 13 years old. my son was born when the first one came out. It has this really iconic character everybody loves, right? It's got these two different types of gameplay. It's got the pirate ships and swashbuckling and all that, and then it's got the assassin stuff and the stealth and all that, and it does them all together. And it's got the Caribbean as the setting, which, I'll be honest, I could use a vacation right now. Sounds like a great place to be. Uh, so when you put all this stuff together, it's kind of like, why not? And then with our studio in particular, it's like, okay, so we worked on the original. We have members from the original. We worked on the water tech. We still work on the water tech. We still work on the naval stuff. So it's just kind of like all of it fit together. When we discussed it, it was like, no, it doesn't make sense not to do it, right? There's other cool AC games, don't get me wrong, but just like this one in particular, it feels like the concept is timeless enough. And what that does and why that's important is that it lets you dream a bit. I always like to say dream because it's game development, whether it's a remake or not, you're still making a new game. So if you think about it as a new game, like the exciting part is like, okay, but what does Black Flag look like today? How does it play today? What happens if you can crouch anywhere? Like, these are all things you could test in the game right now. But 3 years ago, they were all like, what if? What can we do right? What can we do better? What's harder to do? Like, it's this really interesting, not just challenge, but it just feels like this exciting experience that we want to build.
Yeah, so if you because you guys, of course, you have people on the team that worked on the original as well, which of course awesome. And yeah, the naval part has always been a huge thing for Ubisoft Singapore. So you do say that of course helped make you decide that this was the right project.
I mean, for sure, like because we have some of that skill set and experience and people here, and like Terry, one of the directors here, like he even worked on games before Black Flag, right? Like so we just have so much experience like on every AC game since that, like it just makes sense. That's why, we do AC games, but just this one in particular kind of felt like it was meant for us, like
Yeah.
if everybody else is, if Montreal's too busy, we're excited to do it.
Yeah, and would you now say that like obviously yeah, I'm not sure how much you can talk about the future, but that is of course you guys now have kind of like you're kind of now the pirate studio, right? With Skull and Bones, of course, as well.
Okay.
Would you say that maybe like those that you would like take that further and maybe do more with like Edward or yeah this setting in particular?
Um, Well, I mean, what I like to say is that, we always have these dreams. We have ideas about what we could take further or other places to take Assassin's Creed, but it's really too early to say right now. Because the reception is awesome. It's, but it's still so early. Like the game's only been out for a few days. Um, so even though, oh, what would Edward do next or something like, I think these are all interesting questions, but we're going to need some time to sort out, you know, what is the future? What do we work on next? So kind of like I want to say is that we're enjoying the moment first. I mean, Black Flag, we got the title update coming. There's still stuff to do. So it's a bit early, but let's see what the future brings.
Yeah, because obviously, like one of the things that you guys have already teased for the future are like the Ezio and Altair outfits coming to the
Hmm.
game because they're not in the exchange yet, but we already saw a yeah sort of notification saying yo they're coming. So obviously you kind of have a plan, right? Would you say for the post launch in general for Black Flag?
I'd say that yeah, I mean, there's some things we just knew we need to do. But the rest, like what I'm saying is, we look at what the community feedback is. I think there's priorities change a lot based on, okay, what is reception of the game? What do people really want or need or, what needs to be fixed and so on. So, it's a loose schedule. There's some things we're working on for sure. But we're trying to keep the door open a bit too.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I think that was a good approach for Shadows as well. Really, of course, they had some plans, but also listened to the feedback and added a lot of the parkour improvements and some other things that we wanted. So I think having a bit of both is totally great. I wanna totally explore that a bit further later in the stream, but I'm kind of curious because obviously we're also now yeah the second game using this updated Anvil engine that of course started with Shadows. So yeah, before the stream, you already said, yeah, you of course talked with Simon. We know him from the post launch. Can you talk a bit about the collaboration between, yeah, the Black Flag Resynced team and Quebec? For example, they were working on a lot of post-launch additions that we now see at launch in Black Flag Resynced. When I was playing the game for the first time, I was really surprised, and I think it was cool to see the change time of day feature, some of the parkour adjustments. So how does that kind of work?
So, I mean, at Quebec, of course, they've got a lot of experience because they ship Shadows, and they had a team that's, after post Shadows was ready to support. I worked on Shadows, and we had a team that worked on Shadows too, so we already had some of that relationship. Like I know Simon very well. We used to work together. So when I heard that, oh, he's starting to look at parkour stuff, so then we started working together on that. We started working with the community on that. Um, so a lot of those things just come up naturally, like, oh, okay, we've got this feature coming, okay, maybe we can use it. Conversely, like we had some stuff going where it just like made sense to go back to Shadows. It's not always possible, but that's the cool thing about the new version of Anvil pipeline is just that it's not always easy, but we're always speaking the same language. So, if we do want something, we know who to talk to and we can discuss the best way to do it.
Yeah, so if like I've talked to like many people now who have worked on the engine, and it's very interesting, and also coming from like having covered the games in the previous era, it did feel like they were kind of like working like on some of the same features, but then the new game had features that the old game did not have, and the other way around. Like, is it different now? Is it really? I mean, as easy is never the case, obviously, with game development, but Simon and his team for the Shadows post line, they're doing something. Do you guys then see that as a feature in the engine or something like and you can then apply that to Black Flag Resynced, obviously still changing some things, but
So I mean, our projects are separate, right? Like every game needs the power to decide what they are, right? You don't want other people's features to just suddenly slam into your executable. But it's just that it becomes available. So we have this system called monorepo, which is like everything's getting submitted under this overall branch, and then you can pull things out of that makes sense for your game, right? So there's some things that we pulled from Shadows, of course. There's the late Shadows gameplay, the destructibles, ray tracing, all sorts of stuff like that. And there's other things, we don't use, or that don't make sense for us, or conversely wouldn't make sense for them. And so, feature by feature, it's like, that's what I mean by the same language is that, they can read the code, they can understand, okay, this is how it works with the engine, pull it or not, take the time to integrate it or not. But at least you can make that call, and you can make it a lot faster than kind of maybe in the past where the games were all kind of working under similar technology or the same technology, but completely branched. And so, sometimes I like to say it's the difference between, pulling something over the network and pulling it over a USB stick, if you can remember
okay.
those.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so it's not always easy, and there's some features where we try it and just didn't work. But having that same thing, it helps us a lot, and it also lets us build stuff for the future. And so hopefully future games can pull some of the stuff we've got.
Yeah, I think that is awesome that we now, it feels like we have new starting points. Every game that launches is the new starting point for, obviously they are already in development, but they can still utilize those systems, and it's cool to see that. And also, like, maybe going a bit back, like when you start this game, you're remaking this 2013 game. When you start this project, do you have access to all the features? Obviously, you're now using this updated engine. Did you have to build a lot of things from scratch? I do think that I think it's interesting to kind of understand how that works, because obviously Ubisoft has already said there's another remake in development. Like, is it as easy as, okay, we have the game, we're updating the graphics? Obviously, it's probably not as easy, but I'm curious, like, what is your starting point for an Assassin's Creed remake?
It's quite frankly, it's a brand new game.
Okay.
We can't use the code from the original. I mean, it's nice to think about, but do you know what was it built on? Windows 2000? Like it was a long, long time, not that bad, but the code base and the tech is so completely different that we use the original as reference. Sometimes we can occasionally pull an asset as like a placeholder or something to model the new stuff. But mostly we just look into the code to see how things work, to look into the data to see how certain things worked. to learn some of the secrets. But we effectively have to rebuild. So, if it's something we pull from the mono repo, like from Shadows, cool. Well, we get some of that for free, but there's lots of systems for this game that we rebuilt, and partly to be the best case version of whatever it was before, but also because we needed to. And so when you go fresh, sometimes that gives you the ability to make changes.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So, like, then moving to, for example, the combat that you guys like have now played a lot of hours, and I'm still like seeing some new things. I love how, for example, midway through my journey, was like, okay, this kick is way better than I anticipated. So I'm not just kicking everyone. Like you're thinking of it in a different way because obviously we had the kick before, but I was mostly using it to kick people off high places. But now I'm kicking them against the environment, and that's working really well. So I like what you guys did there, but yeah, you obviously had to kind of completely rebuild that, but still keep the Edward flavor. And is that also why things like the Hidden Blade combat, yeah, you guys decided to not include it? Yeah, is that where that decision came from, or can you just tell me
So
more about that?
whenever I mean, of course, we want to be faithful to the original, but part of being a remake is kind of like the flavor is important. Edward is critical. And so we had a couple of these rules. It's like, what would Edward do, and what would Jean Godin, the original creative director, do? Which is just to say that, as a remake, there are changes we needed to make. We knew from the very beginning, okay, combat's got to change. Like the original system is cool, the paired combat, it is what it is, and you can play that game, but we needed something modern, right? So we spent a lot of time trying to reformulate that into what it is now. So, whenever we were looking at changes at all, we were just kind of putting them up against those lenses of like, does it feel faithful to the original design intentions? And does it feel faithful to Edward as a character? So, that's like the sweep and the kick, for example. If I was a trained fighter, these would be kind of like dirty moves, but they kind of fit perfectly as a pirate. It's my favorite thing to do is during boardings, just kick everybody off the side of the boat.
Mhm.
I'll do that forever. And just because it feels like a fun thing to do, right? It feels like a fun piratey thing to do. I don't have to just keep damaging until they die. But yeah, there was always, that went through so many revisions to make sure, okay, this feels like, even though it's different, it's still fundamentally faithful. And then we applied that to everything else we did in terms of changes. For some systems, I'll be honest, we looked at priorities. So this game is so huge. I know, it doesn't seem as big as Shadows or something in terms of number of play hours, but the map is big, the amount of content is big. There's a lot of cutscenes. There's a lot of features to bring back. And like I said, we're bringing back most of it from scratch. So, sometimes we had to just prioritize things, I think. So, we didn't get absolutely everything in perfectly to be a, one-to-one with the original game. But we hope we've got the spirit in that it still feels like Edward, still feels like his journey. It's maybe the best way I can put it.
Yeah, obviously. I totally agree with that, and I like how you, yeah, kind of describe the choices for certain of the new abilities, and yeah, they totally feel like they make sense, and they're a fun way to, yeah, combine, like having the leg sweep and the harpoon combo, like that you can combine these moves now. It's super cool. Um, but I am curious, like about, obviously you have the two swords now. That was kind of my thing also in the review, where like in a Mirage, we had like one weapon option, and it's like a smaller game, so 20 hours. So I was like, I was okay with that, and you're mostly stealth. But in this game, you can go combat heavy, even more so in the remake, where all the stealth only sections are completely fine now if you do them with combat, and obviously the tailing missions you can just go in, kill the enemy, and get the information that way. So having more weapon options would be great. Like, is the hidden blade combat still something you guys are looking into?
Can't make any promises. We're listening to the community. We're interested in what people want the most. But I guess what I'd say is that, during development, if you looked at Edward, he's so powerful right now. He's got so many tools. And so we prioritized core combat because we needed to nail that. And so something like the throwing weapons, oh, it's cool. It's just like he already has 10 ways to kill somebody. So it was just, given the cost to reinvent the feature and rebuild it from the ground up with today's characters and rigs and animation and class sim and all this, like there's a lot more that goes into it. So it was just lower priority for us. It's not so I don't have anything to share on this one yet, but we're definitely listening on it. I read all the good and the bad feedback.
I mean, it's such an iconic thing, right? In these Assassin's Creed games, to yeah, have the dual hidden blade and be able to parry with it. And I just before this interview was like just toying around with it again, and there are quite some like finishers as well in the original that, yeah, like some of them were of course added to Resync, but some are also still exclusive to the original, and it's just so awesome. So I really hope you guys figure a way out to still have that, because yeah, it's just really Assassin's Creed, obviously. And I think again it would make the combat a bit more varied too. So I think it actually has a good gameplay bonus as well. Um, it's like so yeah, it's like New Game Plus. Then something you guys are looking at. Obviously, that was not in the original, but we are now getting even more end game unlocks, and I'm now reaching those. I'm now getting those, and I'm like, I think I've done everything already, so it would be cool to replay the game and have those things with me.
Okay, well, this is the one thing I can say. Yes, we're working on that right now.
Oh
That's
wow,
for sure.
okay.
It's one of the first things. And partly because I mean, Shadows has already built their version, so it's considered
Oh
a low
wow,
risk feature for us. Um, we're still doing the work, so I can't promise exactly a day or anything, but we're definitely working on this one.
that is
It's such a
exciting.
natural thing. So
That's very exciting, and so you would also say that because Shadows already implemented it, it's a bit easier for you guys to do it as well.
yeah, we have something to look at. Simon did the hard work, so to speak. Uh, but I mean, our games are not exactly the same. We have different
Of course.
challenges in terms of how that works. You know, we can't skip to the hideout necessarily, but
Hmm.
but we're looking into it. I really hope it's something we do soon. So
Yeah, and would you then also say that there, maybe I'm like already getting a bit too into it, but like some extra exclusive rewards for us to earn in New Game Plus, or some extra progression
if it's
systems?
up to me, yes. I mean, I
Yeah,
think there's
okay.
still production discussions about what we can do and how much time it takes.
Yeah, 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 of
Every
course.
item we make needs a model. It needs
Mhm,
sometimes it
mhm.
needs cloth sim, all sorts of things. But yeah, it definitely it's like it. That's why I played New Game Plus on Shadows, right? It's like I want those rewards, right?
Yeah,
So
I want those golden katanas, yeah, and
mhm.
yeah, they added a lot of other things as well. Yeah, okay, that's very exciting, and especially because that's another new way to experience this game. We could not do that in the original, so having New Game Plus
To me,
is
it's just that feeling like I'm playing early in the game, but I'm already super badass. And then,
yeah,
oh,
exactly.
isn't this guy going to be a challenge? And then you just quad shot shoot him or something. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. That's more exciting to me. Well, then we'll see how it turns out. But I
Yeah, yeah,
agree.
yeah. No, but that's exciting. But yeah, you said you're like, of course, working on it. Like, what's the, because for Shadows it took quite long for it to reach. Would you say it's like
I
a few
I
months or?
I really can't promise
Okay,
anything.
no
Just to
worries.
say it's at the top of the list
Yeah,
of things. There's a lot of
awesome.
things. Some are harder than others, but
Yeah.
it's something we definitely want to get done.
Can you tell more about that list?
I don't know. Ask me some questions. I'll see what I can.
Okay. Yeah, like finishers, I already talked about some of those being in the original. Like, I remember, like for me, because I'm kind of like I of course still do a lot of stealth, but I'm also, and I'm kind of in a special spot. I'm recording footage. I'm seeing the same finishers like the countless of times. So I do think it's cool when Shadows added more finishers to have a more variation. So that would be something that I would like to see. For example, is that something you guys are looking at?
Um, what I like to say is this is we need the time, we need the animators, and we need the cry from the community. And I say this because our finishers are our takedowns. They're quite a bit difficult, or it's not difficult, they're quite a bit more different from the original because they're not the fully canned animations.
Mm,
So I think, I mean, my animation director is going to kill me on this, but I think with like assassinations, there's 4 different angles to animate. So, and I think takedowns are pretty similar. So,
mhm.
there's more that comes into it to make sure that it's working. Um, I think we got most of those ones from the original, except for the ones that use the thrown weapon and stuff. But you know, it's just to say, I think it's something that I agree. More content is cool. I really can't commit to anything on that one. Just because of the cost.
Yeah.
But you know, you never know.
Yeah, yeah, no, but that's also good information to know. Like, obviously, we can shout, "We want more with this," but it's always easier said than done. Obviously, another cool thing that I know some people are curious about as well, or that you guys obviously changed. Like, I like how seamless the game is. Of course, now not having the modern day for one thing to get you out of the pirate experience, but also not having the sequence menus. But I did like the sort of like challenges for every mission, and that pushes you to, okay, take out this target from like with an air assassination, or do something like that. Is there a way for you guys to maybe with New Game Plus or like something to bring those back? So and then maybe mission replay would be like obviously linked to that.
So, I think what you're hinting at is like the feature Mirage has, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly. That would be awesome.
it's I do think it would be awesome. We've looked into this one quite a bit. I can't promise anything on it just because it exists in Mirage, but it doesn't exist in modern Anvil. So it's like new tech, right?
Yeah.
They do have a solution. We do roughly see how it works, but it's gonna take time to understand if it's something we can build or how long it would take.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, personally, as someone who used to work on Hitman and has played a lot of Hitman, like just seeing the speedrun timer on screen is, I think, is a very interesting way to play a game. But yeah, no promises on that one,
Yeah.
but we do
Okay.
understand.
Yeah. Awesome. And cool that you guys at least already looked a bit into it. I see a lot of people in the chat here now as well, asking about legacy controls. That's of course a big thing for people parkouring with R2, and yeah, is that something you guys are looking at? Because I think Mirage added that post launch as well when they added the manual jump.
Nothing I can say about this one right now.
Okay. And one cool thing as well is the legacy outfit Connor, and is already in the game. We already touched on it. Ezio and Altair. Can you like say when we can expect those?
I don't know. Am I supposed to say? I'm not really sure. I'm supposed to say. Just to say that I think your guesses are pretty good. So.
Okay. And would you say there are more? Because there have been people that have been looking at the game files, and I've seen some videos talking about like legacy outfits for a lot of the assassins. Arno, even the animal spirit outfit from the Washington DLC from King Washington DLC from AC3, Jacob, Alexios.
So, okay, I'm gonna give a little disclaimer here, a little inside baseball for everyone.
Yeah, cool.
Um, because many games get data mined. It's very clever, I understand. Sometimes these are for assets that don't even exist yet.
Okay.
And sometimes they're just like placeholders that were done 3 years ago. So this is my way of saying I don't actually know. So I can't spoil it because I don't know. But
Okay.
I do think we'd love to support the brand legacy. We love to bring back some of those old costumes. We want content parity as much as with the original as possible. So I think some are a bigger bet than others, but as for the exact list, I don't know. I don't know.
No,
It's a
okay.
very interesting question. That's the other thing that's just so interesting, but also so challenging about building for AAA today, is that just setting up one of those costumes, it's way more work than the original. There's like not just modeling it and making sure the detail is there. Like, even in Shadows, you look closely at now, and now you look closely at Edward, and you see some of the fine detail in 4K, right? So there's that. So does it look good? Does it fit well? And then now there's what we call the cloth sim pass. Like, does it move right? Does it hang properly? There's something that's like, oh, easy, you'll just port it over. It's like, no, no, no. It could be a week, could be more, or a month, depending on how
Mm-hmm.
complicated it is. Yeah, no promises on it, but feels more likely than not.
Yeah. But I think it's at least like because obviously this is the first remake, and we saw it with Mirage as well. It was kind of unclear what the post launch looked like. For the RPG games, it's a bit more clear, but at least from like my understanding, you guys are planning to support it for at least this year. Or like, correct me if I'm wrong.
I mean, I can't say anything officially. But it doesn't feel like a crazy bet. I mean, we definitely need to support the game. We need to, fix bugs. Sorry for anyone running into bugs. They hurt. They're painful for us too.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and we do want to add some quality of life stuff. So, I mean, it's a pretty reasonable guess. Also please play us when GTA 6 comes out, but do what you gotta do.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, there will probably be new people picking up a console around that time, so maybe they will be like, "Hey, it's 2013 again. Let's pick up Black Flag as well." um, are you okay with me like quick firing some things, and you can
Sure.
say if you guys are looking into it? The big thing is the blowpipe. People want it hidden, and I'm actually in that camp as well. I think it would be
I'm
very cool.
not sure this is official yet, but I don't know. One of our most senior programmers is working on it right now, so
Oh, cool.
the feeling is mutual. I have a feeling it's coming soon.
Okay, so that would be like a toggle feature, I would say, probably.
Yeah, so I wish it was just a magical feature that just was there the moment it started, but it's just because of the way characters are set up. Like somebody has to do setup, make this specific part of the character just disappear only when this specific setting is enabled, which we need to do.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it
Yeah,
sounds
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's gonna.
Awesome, that's awesome. Like a small thing like that I really want is the ability to change weapons and outfits during combat. I'm not sure if you are, yeah.
So for this one, it's kind of a cost versus time thing. It's like
Mm.
theoretically possible, but there's a reason why Shadows. I don't even think Mirage supports that, right? Like,
Mm.
the thing is when you change the costume, you have to also instantly change everything about the costume. And what I mean is like if what we call T-posing in games is like the idle pose where nothing's gonna break. Um, it's very easy to change things at that moment. But in combat, you could be in the middle of something, you're in the middle of a run or attack or swing or something. Um, and to resim the character so that the cloth rigging is correct, the modeling is correct, the state of the character, that so all the code debugging is correct. There's just a lot of work there. So it is possible, but it's, to be honest, it's not something high on our list.
Okay.
And so again, if the community
Yeah,
really
yeah,
really needs it, I guess let us know.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. I feel that that's a good thing. Like, yeah, let your voice be heard. Of course, be respectful, but yeah, feedback will be heard. We've seen that like a lot now, and that's really cool that these things are actually implemented. Another thing that I now see in the chat is like another quick one, like the ability to hide the pistols on the chest. Like people just
So is it you just want the pistols, like the pistol objects, but keep the straps? Is it?
Yeah, I think that's what people want. I'm like, I kind of
Interesting.
dig it, but like, yeah, just more customization is what people kind of they like the outfit and just want to see it without things blocking it, basically.
That one, I mean, yeah, we'll have to investigate that one.
Okay.
I don't have an answer for you on that one.
Yeah, no
Clearly
worries.
we're not looking into it yet, but that's an interesting thing. I mean,
And
maybe some people are just like can't stand the sight of a gun on his chest. I don't know.
yeah, like I'm always surprised by what people kind of want as well. But yeah, I'm here to
Maybe it's like
guide.
certain costumes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that would make things a bit more complicated, I would imagine. Can we expect additional projects? It was already cool to see next to the crossover projects that we have one Black
So,
Flag related.
currently, no. I believe
Okay,
what is there is what is planned. But could these things change in the future? For sure. So the ability
awesome.
is there.
Yeah,
It's just more on, I don't know, whether, we need it or the community needs it or the hub team needs it. There's a lot of different reasons it could happen, but just currently not.
yeah. Okay. And is there like more parkour editions? Of course, you guys already launched with a really great system. But I know, like for example, the catch latch is something that people really liked when that was added to Shadows as well. So, are you basically looking into expanding the system more?
So actually, that's an interesting one because we're testing the build. I actually asked people to test the build today. Catch ledge should work. So is there a specific one that
Oh,
you're?
okay, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I've not. Yeah, I've not. I don't think I've been able to get it to work, but
Okay. I mean, please check again.
okay,
Thanks,
okay.
community. But we seem to see it working. I think the only situation where it doesn't work is like if you collide with the wall first. There could be an issue
Oh,
there,
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it should work. So
Awesome.
we did take the whole set of updates from Shadows.
Okay.
The one thing I want to say though is just because our game is a bit different, our metrics are different. We're like a mix of the metrics being the size and shape of all the buildings is from the original game, but the metrics of characters today is a bit different. So we had to kind of find this happy
Awesome.
medium. And Shadows has their own metrics, completely different, right? So when we worked with Quebec and a lot of hardworking people on Quebec side to do the implementation, like the values had to be tweaked a bit. So it's never going to be exactly like Naue or Yaske.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
our
yeah.
own.
Yeah, I see now people in the chat also saying that that they got it to work. So
Cool. It works.
it's
Thank
just
you.
a problem on my end then. So I'm also curious about like kind of the modern day, and I'm not sure how much you can talk about this, but I actually kind of like in terms of gameplay, especially the final two rifts that we had. Can you like talk more about that in terms of obviously you guys shifted from the regular modern day. I think that's a good decision, but that of course depends on who you ask. But is this now? I'm not sure how much you can talk about it. The modern day we can kind of expect as fans of the series, just very optional rifts that if you don't look for them you can kind of easily miss. I do think you get like a notification, but that's about it.
You get a notification on one of them, I think, but
Yeah,
but we
yeah,
made it kind of optional and hidden on purpose. Like it's there if you really want to engage, if you really want to find out more. But maybe you're the side like I don't I don't give a crap. I just give me my pirate adventure. Then we wanted you to have that cake too.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So um we feel like for the current approach with the risks and stuff, that was the smartest way to do it. That it's really there for I guess it's not necessarily hardcore, but hardcore, Rift players and modern day players. If you want to go out and seek it out, you can. And we just felt that was the best medium,
Yeah,
and that wasn't as disruptive as it was in the old game. Because as cool as that experience is, obviously, you're either love it or hate it in terms of like now I have to go play, Montreal Simulator, as we like to call it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Where is it going forward? I think is a really interesting question. That's really for Jean Garon, I think. But the cool thing about the brand is that they they give you options, right? Like you don't have to exactly do what the last game did, and every game needs its own flavor. So I'm sure Jean and his team are discussing how they want to go forward and stuff. But yeah, so it's never a guarantee. But we hope there's at least something cool here.
Yeah, yeah. And again, I think this was for me like a cool. I stumbled upon some of them too, so it was kind of like an extra open world exploration type of thing. Um, yeah, but I do think it has like it was such a crucial part of the franchise, of course, and yeah, it has kind of taken a backseat. I would love to see it expand a bit more. That without maybe taking you out of the experience, but yeah, it's always an interesting conversation, I think. But yeah, I think now tying it also with Edward and his kind of story and the what ifs, what
So,
was
so
kind
one
of
of
a
the
cool
things I like to
approach.
say is like I can't spoil it because I'm curious too, right? Like, who knows what the next game will bring. We both, Singapore and me and Simon and the brand, like everybody definitely reads all the feedback on this stuff. And I think it's, one of those key topics that Sean will be looking at as part of his new job.
Yeah,
But I think in terms of this game, the right thing to do was to say, we're making a change, but it's up to you if you want to engage with it. And if you just want to focus on Edward's rum and troubles, all the more power to you.
yeah. Um, yeah. Do you mind if we still have a few more
Yeah,
questions?
let's let's keep going. Let's keep
Okay.
going.
Awesome. Awesome. I also see like a bit of questions about the double assassination that of course is kind of works like Shadows now with the cut cam, and people are kind of like curious about maybe the decision and if you guys are looking into changing that. And I also see even people ask about chain assassinations.
So, okay, can I say with the double assassination, of course, it was critical. We needed that back in the game. It's
Mm-hmm.
just something he does. Um, when we first put it in, though, it has this clear problem, which you can see Shadows kind of came to the same conclusion on, which is that it causes the enemies to magnet towards each other. So you come in for the kill, and then the characters have to kind of like sort of magically connect to each other so that they're in the right space to die. Uh, and when we tried it, it didn't look good enough to ship.
Hmm.
And the Shadow solution to solve that is a cut so that they can quickly move everybody into position. Now there's other solutions like just come up with 100 different animations that take 6 months to build it. It's not great. But that's currently the way it works. I don't think that's something we're looking specifically at changing right now. Again, we'll listen to what folks have to say, but yeah, there's that key problem to solve.
Yeah. No, that's very good insights as well. And like real quick, the chain assassination people obviously love that from all the games.
So like, is there a specific issue with the chain, or are you just saying you like it?
like being able to assassinate one target and then also from range, like someone else.
Oh, with like a throne, or you mean something else?
Yeah. Or like in general, just being able to assassinate multiple targets. For example, right now, if there are two enemies next to each other, then you can do either a double assassination or you could like assassinate one and then, for example, in
Oh,
Shadows, Naue does a very cool move to then also
yeah,
with the
yeah, I
bow
see what you mean.
staff, for example.
Yeah. Currently, there's no plan for that. I mean, we're trying to
Okay.
be as faithful to the original as possible. Faithful doesn't always mean doing exactly what they did, but um, like we're trying not to invent too much new stuff. Again,
Yeah. I totally
we'll
get it.
listen to the community on it, but I guess what I just say is, to me, that falls under the same boat of like, how much more power do we want to give them?
Yeah.
um, uh, but interesting.
Yeah. And like another thing is like I love the manual hood. Being able to put that on and off is awesome. Yeah, and that's of course such an iconic thing in Assassin's Creed. What now sometimes happens when you go into cutscenes, the hood is removed.
Yeah.
In Shadows they added a like hood in cutscene feature, which like Simon explained is obviously also easier said than done because then you have to see if there's no like issues with that in these cutscenes. But the people are now like kind of want that, of course, having Edward with the hood on in all the
So
cutscenes as well.
So that was a narrative choice. We wanted to stay faithful to how the original cutscenes were done. So we remastered, which is a remake. I say remastered is the wrong word, but when we're redoing those cutscenes, one of the things we had to do was, okay, now we need to do the hood pass of going through everyone to make sure the hood is either on or off according to the original game, and then does it look right? Make sure his ear isn't poking out. So yeah, if you support both, that means double the work. And it's kind of important for cutscenes because they're like a different quality level than the core game. Like, this is just something common for all sort of AAA games. When you're in a cutscene and everything's tightly controlled, you can amp up some of the visuals. Um, so it's not just it's not the equivalent of pressing the button to make the hood go whoop whoop. Um, so there's a bit more work there. So it was just under one of those things like, yeah, in theory it could have been done. In theory, you could support both. It was just the amount of work versus
Hmm.
other priorities.
Yeah.
So it's not something we really want to change at this point. Is it possible? Yes.
Okay. Interesting. A few more. Like, of course, the most requested thing from the community. Again, I asked people on Discord, on Twitter, on everything. Like, and I think that's also like a testament to people are loving the game, but they want more. And Freedom Cry has come up a lot. And obviously, I know when we spoke in Singapore, and I think in other interviews, it was always said, no, we're focused on Edward, we're focused on this. Has that changed? 2 million in one day. Everyone is loving this remake. You guys have the tools, I would imagine. Like, has the door opened at least a bit for exploring some of the content that was added? Obviously, some of the
It's
things were already at launch, but
I mean, the reception has been amazing, but it's still so early right now. I know some folks on the team have DLC ideas. We need to balance those out with our future, and then, updating the core game. But beyond that, I just want to say our focus with Black Flag Remake has always been Edward. Like, it's he's the kind of heart soul of the original game, and So maybe there could be more to tell there too. So I can't really say anything as to a freedom cry, but just that we got our hands full with this remake right now. I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
freedom cry it's also it's not a small thing either. But yeah.
So you would rather expand, like put those resources and time into expanding Edward's story more in new content.
Um, I actually I don't know. Like it's just to say like our future. We're still kind of figuring out where we put our time going
Yeah,
forward. I mean, we just have to mix that, like, supporting Black Flag Resynced and, what other, kind of future projects could happen. And I think Freedom Cry is, it's definitely a game we remember. I think it needs some modernization work. So I don't know. These are just things we consider, but yeah, I really don't know the future beyond like supporting
yeah,
Black
yeah,
Flag
yeah.
Resynced right now. So.
Yeah. Interesting, but like again, I think it's already cool playing this game as a fan of the original to have more content. Like,
Yeah, and so that's the thing I can definitely say is like definitely I could say that
but
we're
I mean,
wishful and
already in
hoping,
the base
but
game, right? I mean,
yeah.
already having the officer missions and the world with a world without gold side mission, and it's kind of wild. Like I think I also said in my review, like if you told someone 5 years ago, "Yo, you're gonna have more Edward content in 2026," they would be like, "No way." So it's we like as the Assassin's Creed franchise, of course, grows and grows. A lot of these characters we're trained to kind of leave them alone. They have their game, and of course Ezio had the trilogy, but apart from that, and sometimes they show up, but apart from that, like I would love to have more with Bayek. At first, it was a pipe dream, and now I'm like, okay, maybe whatever the future brings,
Well,
right? So that's
so
exciting.
rather than giving you an answer to that, like I think that's like a great question for the community here. Like would you rather see more Edward's Tales or Adewale, or you see like Bayek? Do you want Cassandra to show up? I don't know. Like I don't know where the future is, but we're always interested in what people think about it.
Yeah, 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 for sure. And yeah, the voice. Yeah, I think the people will make their voice heard. And but that is what I kind of learned though with the Assassin's Creed franchise. Everyone has their own like opinion, and that's good. Like, but
Well, that's what
uh,
makes it so exciting, right? You think they're
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
do, Origins 2, and then you get Odyssey, and it's
yeah,
Greece,
yeah,
and wow,
exactly.
what's going on? And so, um, I think it's one of the strengths is that we can pull from so many parts of history and so many interesting characters, and that it doesn't, sometimes the best thing we can do is to kind of change your expectations.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Okay, then I think let's do two questions that I do think the community has been like kind of talking about as well, and that is like kind of your. We talked a bit about the new content, and obviously we have some really cool scenes here and there, but there are also some scenes that are yeah that don't have the same motion capture like kind of value. Can you kind of explain during development why those choices are made, and did you guys hear the feedback on that? For me, like seeing Edward again and having this really cool main story that has these really awesome scenes, and then going to some of the new content where they're kind of standing around it. Yeah, it kind of takes you out of the experience in a way, but I can imagine that you guys have to make choices as well. So, yeah, can you kind of talk about that process?
Yeah, so a lot of these decisions get made much earlier in development, and we had to make this call of like, do you want like where do we put the most of the time and the effort and the money, so to speak? And like it was never a question for us. It's the original cutscenes. It's the original experience takes precedence, right? We would hate to like screw up on those. So what that just means is that sometimes we have to settle for less to make sure we just get the game out on time, right? So maybe lesson learned, there will be less dialogue scenes in the future, but yeah, like that's the kind of insight when you have a game that only takes, I mean, may seem like a long time to people, but 3 years is actually very fast
Mm-hmm.
for a game of this size. So yeah, I mean, everybody's still entitled to their opinion, but that was just like those are kind of the impossible decisions you make in game development. It's like, okay, but which one's more important? And same goes with Edward. It's like he's more important. We focus on him.
Did you see what the Shadows team did with the final mission? I'm not sure if you got around to it yet,
Yeah,
but
yeah, I've played through Black Tides.
oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah.
I think what they did there, like that's what Simon kind of told us, is that yeah, they still like they kind of found a way, a kind of cool middle way to still have these scenes feel more natural. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
pretty cool tech.
lots of lessons to learn. That's the
Yeah.
other thing with game development. We're always learning things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought Black Tides was super cool
Yeah,
actually.
me
So
too. Me too. That was such a cool addition. Um, and yeah, one more thing, enemy AI improvement. I see a lot of questions about that. Can you like kind of talk about that? Obviously, you said like, are you then using the AI from Shadows? How does that kind of work? For me, it felt like Edward now has way more systems, so the AI we kind of notice. Yeah, so some things where they're kind of lacking, but on the other hand, it's a stealth game. You don't want it to be too hard and to be yeah not fun for
so
everyone. So
actually, we worked directly with Quebec on the AI,
oh,
and
awesome.
because we're using their system, there's like our game is based off an earlier version of Shadows
Yeah.
for the most part, and then we get upgrades and stuff as it goes. Um, but what's different with us, like there's just some features we have they don't, some that they have we don't. Um, and so the system has to be kind of tuned both to get more of the same feel from the original Black Flag, and also to just kind of adjust to the fact that like the enemies don't have bows and arrows, and they don't climb as much. Some of them don't climb at all. So there's just like different systems, different archetypes to consider. Um, is there room for improvement? Probably, but just to say that like the way we built it was to be, we took the shadow system, we worked closely with Quebec. I'm like, okay, taking as much of that system as possible, and then still kind of giving Edward his sort of combat finesse. He's very good at wrecking a lot of enemies. So there's always like kind of a tight balance there to consider.
Yeah,
Does that more or less answer it, or?
yeah, for me, I wish the for me, I wish the style felt a bit more challenging, in a way where, maybe because it is that Edward is such a powerful character. Like I never was like, okay, I'm now being spotted. Well, I just will kick everyone and
So
be
you want a
fine.
nightmare difficulty? Is that it?
Oh
Or
yeah, that's yeah, that's. Oh wow, I
interesting.
forgot to ask that. Are you guys looking into it? I mean, we
Interesting,
always see it
interesting
post
topic.
launch. That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I can't confirm or deny, but
Okay, okay.
how many AC games have shipped with nightmare mode? No.
I think no one shipped with it, but they all added it later.
Well, I mean, yeah, so many have added it later.
Yeah,
That's what I mean.
yeah, 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 yeah. Richard, thanks a lot for your time. Again, I know it's late. Yeah,
No,
but
no worries. I hope
yeah.
the assassins don't come and kill me. I hope I didn't say too much. But just to say, like, we worked with a lot of teams worldwide to make this game happen. It was a hell of a lot of work. But we are all kind of like sort of bleeding, what they say, blood, sweat, and tears, right? To try and make sure it feels modern in some ways different, but as faithful to that feeling as the original game. So we hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, when I will also speak for the community here by saying thank you for all the work and being able to yeah re-experience this game in this way. Like of course the fidelity, but for me the cool surprise was that there was so much more. And I still think that it's cool that I think these both games, like the original and this new version, can kind of live together because it was more of a new experience than I expected, and it made me very excited for more of these, hopefully. Yeah, is there anything else you want to share before you leave? Yeah, want to say to the community maybe?
I mean, the assassins will really come for me if I say anything more,
I
but
mean, like
just
in
thank
general,
you.
like to the community as like a thank you or whatever.
Yeah,
That's
I
what I
know,
meant.
but really thank you. I mean, of course, it helps to read some good feedback too, but good or bad, we do read it. I do look, we can't. We're human too. We're on Reddit. I'm on Resetera. We're always checking things. We're watching videos. We're like, why is the jackdaw flying now? Why is the censure of the jackdaw? Why is this happening? Why does the dog look like a man? So there's so many things that can happen with these games. So we really appreciate the community that not just for maybe finding them, but having good humor with them, and also speaking your mind in terms of what you like, and where what could go further.
Yeah, I think you in general you will hear more what people are kind of missing because they are enjoying the rest, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm still seeing a lot of like praise as well, but obviously when it comes to feedback, people are like, "Hey, I like the game, I'm loving it, but this would make it even better." But I think that only shows you how engaged everyone is. And again, most of my questions were like you said day 5 or something about New Game Plus, more. So I think that's a
Okay.
testament to the great work you and the team did. So thanks again for coming on the stream. That's very cool. And yeah, seeing a lot of people here saying thanks as well in the
Thank you
chat.
so
So
much.
good luck with whatever is next, and of course supporting Black Flag Resynced, and we will be following it here and play along. So thanks again
Thank
for
you
your
so
time.
much.
Okay, thanks everyone for watching, of course, and all the questions that you send in. Um, yeah, I'll of course keep covering everything and keep you up to date, and enjoy playing the game. So thanks for watching. Thanks Brock, of course, for moderating, and we will